good evening to everybody, wherever you may be watching this Stramash sports show. Tonight, we'll be talking about Scotland. Ticket prices at the World Cup, my goodness. The European extravaganza, is it all over for all our clubs? We'll be catching up on that as well. And there's a cup final to look forward to. Are Celtic in trouble? Can St Mirren do one over them in the cup final? And I know some Celtic fans are very, very nervous, very anxious. Anyway, first thing is, Glenn, you've been trying to find a ticket for the Scotland games, but there is mass hysteria out there because of the prices. The question is, I guess, is FIFA so far out of touch with the football fan?
Oh, I mean, it's just outrageous. I mean, if you think about it, FIFA in touch with football fan, have they ever been? Some of the stuff they come away with. But I mean, if you compare and contrast the prices for the Euros, compare the prices for the World Cup, it's night and day, and it's outrageous. Yep. I mean, and this is before. I mean, they're allowing access into their ticketing site for like touts, etc. When I'm saying touts, I'm talking about the big companies like T-Combo, etc., who are they can get hold of the tickets, and they're selling them on for an extortionate amount as well. So we've had a quick look because we plan to go if we can make it happen, okay? Right. And the cheapest ticket for Scotland versus Haiti, okay, is $180. There's not many of them. Then you've got the next category, which is $400, and then you've got $500. Now, if you go, so that's about, I think $500 works out at £370, okay? If you go on to the sites like T-Combo, who have tickets, now how have they got tickets, you know? None of the rest of us have tickets, never mind. Nope. It's either the American public selling them and making a fortune because they had access, straight away. But anyway, if you go on there, okay, the cheapest ticket for Scotland, Haiti is £690. So that's a $180 ticket, which probably costs what, $130? So £130 up to £690. It's just it's putting beyond the means of even. I mean, America. It's too far to travel. It's too far to travel over the continent of America. The fact they're having it in Mexico, Canada, and and America. But you add in all the costs. I mean, I've seen the accommodation. Oh my God, for a week and a half, some places are charging £36,000.
I know. And the other part of that, Chris, is the stadium's well out of the city centre, especially in Boston. So you've got this choice to make. Do you buy a hotel near the stadium or do you buy a hotel in the city centre? City centre is going to be, as Glenn said, absolutely extortionate. What do you do? Do you bother going?
Well, I think it's a once in a, well, it's a bit like Scotland, really. It's a once in a lifetime sort of experience, cash wise. So you just need to balance it. But yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I think the fact that I don't know if it happens for all of them, the two games in the one place, which is something decent. But people are just going to, the prices. I mean, it's going to be cheapest just now, so they're just going to be ramped up later on. So if you're going to go, you might as well break the bank and sort it out now. But yeah, it's well beyond the means of most other people. Obviously, I mean, transit inside North America, well, States and Canada particularly, is pretty decent. I've done a bit of hitchhiking in Mexico, actually, but yeah, I don't know how much I would recommend that. But yeah, it's just going to cost an absolute bomb, no doubt.
Well, Glenn, what more could the SFA do? Because we know Mike Mulroney, the chief exec, but nobody knows how he got that position. We didn't have a vote on this, the football fan, but he's run Scottish football. He's also the chief exec, he's finance executive for FIFA. So from the SFA right to FIFA, we've got a direct link. Shouldn't they be doing more to say, wait a minute here, hold the bus, this isn't fair?
Well, you would think so, eh? If they were truly representative of Scottish football, e.g. the football fans, then yeah, but they're not. They're all linked in. So basically, the SFA for qualifying are going to receive £5 to £10 million, from FIFA.
Yeah.
You look at you multiply that by the other countries there as well, kind of thing. I mean, FIFA they're not really guardians of football. They are a commercial organisation. They are accountable to nobody. They don't open their books, etc. It's money and dispersing it all around the world. A lot of it actually goes back into football, but a lot more we don't know. And they're all about maximizing the revenues. And the worst thing about this one is they've taken a step that they've never done before, and they've done a very American thing, and they've done like a demand responsive ticketing. So it's more expensive for the Morocco game. So Haiti is the cheapest of the 3 games. It's more expensive for Morocco and even more expensive for the Brazil game. Now, before, in previous tournaments, it's always been, so here you go. There are different categories of tickets depending where you are in a stadium, and there are 3 prices, and it's the same for every single country. Doesn't matter who you're playing, etc. You pay that price. But no, this, they've done it by demand just to maximize it. They know that a load more people are going to want to go and see Brazil, so therefore it's going to be like at least 20% more expensive than it is to see Scotland versus Haiti. It's got a horrible feel about it, that it is just really commercial, just with money. So we all probably got a bit excited when they expanded the tournament to 48 countries.
48.
Yeah, but why did they do that? Were they wanting to broaden it, as they said, and open it up to more countries? Or is it just about maximising revenue? And that's how it feels anyway.
Of course it does. Chris, I don't know if the prices in Canada are as bad as America or in Mexico. I don't know how the exchange rate works. But this is another dislocation of FIFA from the football fan, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about money, but Roy Keane pointed this out donkeys ago, the prawn sandwich brigade. And there will be, I mean, I don't know what the percentage will be, but there'll be people turning up barely, with a passing interest in the game. And that's not right. I mean, just that alone, I mean, this is twice in our, well, no, we had Spain as well, right enough. Spain, France, and now here, but obviously the younger guys this is a total foreign concept to them, so they'll probably be breaking the bank to go. But yeah, I think as the years pass, the gap between the fan and actually being able to attend the sport you love is getting bigger. I don't see how that could. Money's driving it, so I don't see how sadly that could change.
If you had, this is a question I put to people out there, I'm getting response back. I'll have to mention a few of them. But if you had the money, would you spend it on a ticket to see Scotland? If you had the money, would you do it, Chris?
Me, I would probably, like with Brazil, I'd probably wait till we got them in the semis. So I would I'd sort of, I'd keep my powder dry for getting Brazil in the semis.
If you had the money.
I don't know. I could possibly go with them and take my chances, but I don't know. I certainly, if I was going to go to any games, it'd be the first 2, because that way you're guaranteed that you're still in it. But it's a lot of money. I mean, it could be a year's wages. So
I know.
I don't know.
The principle then, Glenn, we were talking about here. If you had the money, would you still hand it over to these corporate elites to see Scotland?
No. So there's a limit, I think. So I've paid what I think for the Euros. I thought I paid far too much, But that was a case of like Scotland, going with my children across to to Germany, kind of thing. The rest of the trip was reasonably manageable, etc. And I'll be honest, we paid something like £700 for 3 tickets for the Switzerland game. Yeah.
Wow.
And I had reservations about that, but I thought we don't qualify. It's the next time my kids actually might want to go, and that's it, they'll go with their friends. So I thought this will be like a trip for us, kind of thing. We might never ever do it again, kind of thing. There's not a chance I'm going to pay the fees that they're talking about just now. Like £600 to £700 for a ticket. No, there's 4 of us going. If we get to go, I mean that's just you can't afford that.
No.
So I'd rather actually be, if I'm going to go, then I would rather actually go and just be part of like a fan park with Scotland fans, enjoy the experience and all that kind of stuff, than pay like what's that, £600, £700, over £3,000 for a family afford to go? No, not at all. No, it's obscene. But the thing is, they won't get the message because somebody else will pay it.
I know, that's the tragedy of all this. As Chris said, the prawn sandwich brigade will be coming out. These will be corporate tickets given out to big companies who can afford it, and they'll have a passing interest in soccer, or they might be Scottish, or they might be Haitian. But they add nothing to the atmosphere. And I think FIFA are missing a trick here, because football is about passion and atmosphere. If you take that away from the matches, you're going to have a COVID situation where you're just playing a game of football with nobody there. It is beyond belief. And can you imagine a Scotland game with no big rousing anthem from the fans, or the colour and spectacle that Scotland brings to a match? It's putting a lot of people off. And if I can just mention a couple, Judith Lowry says the USA is playing a massive role in the genocide of Palestinians and are showing incredible cruelty in their own country. I doubt I shall ever visit the States again. This is for the football. We asked if we would go to watch Scotland. FIFA Peace Prize put the damper on World Cup for me. We'll watch it at my local. So more people are wanting to. But that's another question because of the time difference, 2:00 in the morning. Glenn, you're a councillor. Could it be that local authorities or the people in charge can give an opening time so people can join together and watch Scotland over a pint?
Yeah. No, I fully expect that'll happen. The Scottish government already come out and said that they're going to look at it and actually see if they can work around it. Whether all premises get this, I don't know. But yeah, it was a huge surprise, the times that we've got for the matches. I knew they would be quite late, etc. But for all our matches to be so late, it's unreal. If I could just add one thing as well. Well, we're going across to America, but we're also going because it's a family trip. My wife's American. And we're going to meet up with the family. So it's two birds killed with one stone kind of thing, But people should be able to watch it in the pub, or watch it in their homes. They definitely should have an extension to license hours. I think it will happen, but I don't know how many premises will get that.
Oh, right. So it depends on who puts in the biggest bid and who can get the police and get their self in order. Is it that kind of thing?
It all depends. I mean, so it could be. So if you're looking at a rural pub versus looking at city ones, okay, they will want they won't want a whole mass of people to be exiting a pub at a certain all leaving at 2:30 in the morning after having drank for the whole day. Yeah. So there has to be a bigger picture. You look at it, okay, how you actually control it. So it might be a case of that they'll spread them out throughout a city. So not every place will get, etc. If there's only one pub in a town or whatever, it will get, So it'll be something like that. I don't know. I think this would probably be taken out of the hands, or not out of the hands of councils, but strong guidance will be given whereby there'll be, you'll be allowed to do a certain amount or something like that. And look, local authorities, they want people to enjoy themselves. They want to be part of it. It's a party atmosphere. Hopefully we never know. We might even go longer we might get out of the group. They might actually have to extend it again, I
hope so.
But something will be done, I'm fairly certain.
Right, good stuff. Greg MacArthur says, I hate to say it, but after 27 years, maybe we should boycott it, the whole competition. FIFA is corrupt and so is the USA.
But Nori, we've boycotted it for the last 27 years.
I
didn't do anything.
But he's also saying there should be a massive outcry by our Scottish government and the SFA against these prices. But I think there's something being said. Stephen Flynn was on Question Time last night, Chris. He was very upset about the prices, thought them outrageous. That's all you can do, is shout at them. But that doesn't mean to say they'll get the prices down.
Just voice your concerns. I mean, it's a democracy, so you definitely do that. But it wouldn't surprise me if a story came up about some MPs getting some cheap or free briefs further down the line as part of that sort of brigade. But yeah, it's a show that everybody wants to go to, and I suppose I'm grateful that we're there. But yeah, I mean, these ticket touts could be stopped. They definitely can. I mean, getting tickets for the Scotland rugby and all that, you now have to get the app, which I disagreed with. But they can clamp down on these things if they really want to. But it's a massively popular show, and price reflects it, I suppose.
Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it does seem that with this World Cup, by far, as far as I'm concerned, it's put profit against people. And I think that's going to be to the detriment of football itself. Glenn, have we got a quiz question that we can rattle off for our listeners?
We do. Very last minute, I've thrown a few questions together. So the first one is, prior to taking the reins at Celtic, which club was Wilfred Nancy in charge of?
Oh, like, I know this, but I can't get it off my head. There's
Funny enough, we went to see we went to see him actually. Well, if it's the club, I believe it is Montreal. I don't know if he's Montreal Impact. Is it?
Montreal was his first club, and he left Montreal for this club.
Columbus, then, is it?
Yeah, you're spot on. Yep.
Yeah, Chris, that's the one.
Okay, shall I give you another one to leave hanging?
Yeah, we'll just get it because that was easy for Chris, not for me. I wouldn't have got that.
Okay, Nori, you've got a better chance of this one. Okay, so similarly to Wilfred Nancy, prior to his move to Celtic, which Scotland international striker managed exclusively in the MLS, taking charge of the New York Red Bulls in 2005 to 2006 and Toronto from 2007 to 2008. So Scotland striker, well known. He's been a manager, and it's only been in the MLS. And he's managed 2 clubs.
Oh, Scotland striker, 2005.
2005 to 2006 was the New York Red Bulls, and 2007 to 2008 was Toronto.
Right, I'll try. I haven't got that one, but let that one lag just now. But we'll move on to European football for our clubs. If we take Rangers first, I don't know if any of you saw the game last night. I was watching it, and I couldn't believe how poor, honestly, how poor Rangers were defensively. I know the Suter wasn't playing, and that was a big loss. But some of these goals, the defenders, Chris, were just watching the ball going past them. It was, for me, I'm an Aberdeen fan, and I was watching that, and I was embarrassed for Rangers.
I mean, it was embarrassing. For once, Super Alan McCoy, what a character, was stuck for words. Hernandez, I can't remember if it's Hernandez. That's how, irrelevant this guy. I can't remember whether his name is Hernandez or Fernandez.
Fernandez, aye.
About 6'5", and as McCoy said, he wasn't even facing the right way. I mean, that's a basic prerequisite. You need to be facing with the ball. And just the way, their goals, they just looked like a team that were going to go and score. Tavernier, the ball was just passing him by.
Aye.
Just, there was nothing, and you're thinking, well, geez, this guy's got 50 odd goals for Rangers, obviously penalties, but just the way that Finnish Farmers, and they don't have a massive budget, but they just carved them open. They really did. It was embarrassing. Yes, Suter is missing. That's a shame, but you could have put a couple of young boys in at centre back, and they would have acquitted themselves better than what the two. They were just posted missing, literally posted missing.
Yeah, exactly. Glenn, I don't know if you saw it, but the reports coming out of Ibrox are really grim. Things haven't got together. And this Fenerbahce were managed by an ex-Celtic player, and they play in green and white. Maybe that put them off. I don't know. But it was embarrassing as a Scotland fan looking for a coefficient, thinking, where have we gone? How low has Scottish football dropped then if we can't put on a really good performance against a team, as Chris says, that aren't well funded, but yet seem to have better players and much more acumen about them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you mentioned Tavernier, by the way. I mean, he was posted missing. I think he really struggled being part of a centre-back three. He's not used to. He struggles anyway as playing a fullback, let alone playing a centre-back. But I know Rangers are defensively struggling with Suter out, and he's out for a little bit as well. I think his defensive partner's out as well. But I sat there and I looked on paper. I saw the highlights. I looked on paper. I thought this should be a tie that they should be able to get something out of. They're the Hungarian champions. Hungarian football should be on a par with our football. But
Yep.
The players that they've unearthed seem to, it seems to work. Look at the guy Varga. So he scored for them. Okay, 20 goals he's got. 20 goals, and it's just December.
Yeah, I know.
I can't imagine he's going to be there long. He's going to earn himself a big money move, but either by the end of this season or within a season and a half. That's phenomenal. Other clubs will be looking at him, etc. So they're obviously well run in a sense that they use whatever limited funds they have and they recruit well. Whereas if you're a Rangers fan, you look at how they've actually spent the limited funds that they had and they've squandered them. So things come home to roost, and it's not looking good for Rangers. It's not looking good for any of the Scottish clubs. The role might get saved though, because Nancy's come in and it's looking awful for him. So normally they judge each other across one side of Glasgow, and if Nancy's struggling, suddenly Roll's looking good.
Well, that's right. It's yin and yang in Glasgow. We know that for a fact. As long as one team's beating the other. But then, if we look at Celtic as well, Chris, they were hammered 3-0 at home by Roma, and again, the first one was an own goal. Right, that can happen. But the next two the goals were just like. Block the guy, close him down, don't give him a chance. It's basic defending again. And I just thought, where was the Celtic defence last night?
Well, I mean, the first goal, Scales, I mean, I always say as a defender, get to the ball first, then at least that way you're in control. And they sort of goals. But when you look, they've got Hatate on the line trying to header a ball off the line. So
I know.
I don't know where. I just don't know where that came from, and that Evan Ferguson, they just had too much time. That they're absolutely missing Carter Vickers. They really, whether it was him with Trusty or him with Scales, he just solidified the whole back line, and they're missing it right now. I mean, what I would say is when they put on Iheanacho, really you could tell he was well up for it. But he literally couldn't get out the tunnel quick enough. So there was a bit more, there was a bit more physical presence there. He was unlucky with the goal getting disallowed, to be honest. It was great movement, opened up went with his right foot and then just opened up his body and took it in the left. So yeah, just done over by a decent Roma team, but just they looked panicked, I think. To the extent that even Tierney a bit was panicked, but I'll give I'll give Nancy his due making the 3 substitutes. I liked seeing that, to be honest, because I don't think it certainly didn't make it any worse. Engels missing the penalty, they had a chance to get before half time, but yeah, I mean everyone's panicking right now, but it's one more nail in the coefficient coffin. Roma are a good team, but Celtic made it really easy for them. Guillen, just not strong enough. I mean, the commentators were saying it. You'll get the ball and somebody's coming in at the back of you, but you've just got to ride the challenge and know that's happening and be looking to see, right, who's showing for me, and Guillen just looked as if he didn't want any part of this physical tussle. And you can't be having guys like that when you're playing a decent European team.
I know. Glenn, how would you like to be in Wilfred Nancy's shoes? What would you be making of the Celtic team right now? Is there any shoots of recovery coming out of that, or does he have to make big signings? Or are there players past their sell-by date or not fit for Celtic? Where are Celtic right now?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was smiling there for a second as my eyes kind of gleamed to his £100,000 at least a year contract. I'd love that. It's probably more than that as well, by the way. But look, I mean, he's come in, he's changed the system, and it's not worked so far. It's going to take time. Okay, he's inherited other people's players, but look at Martin O'Neill. He came in, he was much more pragmatic. He had to deal with what was there, and he got results. Now some of it wasn't pretty, but it was he's dragged Celtic back. Up. He did until Nancy came in. They were level again. They'd been 8 points behind. He's got them into a final, etc. So Nancy's come in, and whether he's not really spent a lot of time studying the players that he has, but he's changed the way they play, and they're not reacting to it. He's only had about a week and a half to work with them, so we'll have to see. But yeah, Celtic haven't got the standard of players they've got there aren't good enough for what they want to do in Europe. It's as simple as that. It's the same actually with Rangers and to a lesser degree with Aberdeen as well, because they're operating at different levels. I mean, Celtic started off in the Champions League, Aberdeen Conference League, but still, none of them actually have a squad that are good enough to go deep in into Europe. I'm not writing off Celtic just now. They're still, I think they've got a chance. The playoffs, they're just there and no more. A couple of games to go. Whether they'll be there by the end of it, I don't know. But he's got a lot of work ahead of himself. I mean, and if things go bad this weekend, they will not be patient. There'll be a lot of pressure. I can just see now, the end of February, the start of March, and the phone's ringing. Martin O'Neill's picking up, going, "Oh, hello.
I know.
Oh, so you want me back, do you? So I've got 3 months this time, you know."
Well,
he did a good job. But I mean, if Nancy doesn't get a grip of this relatively soon, by the end of the year, he's under a lot of pressure.
I'm telling you, £100,000. But I tell you what, you've got to earn that cash, and you'll have to make sure he does. I guess, Chris, has the St Mirren a cup final come along too soon for him, or do you think the Celtic players know how important this is, and then they'll be able to carry the team themselves without really having had much conversation with the manager?
I don't think he could have arrived at a worse. Well, don't get me wrong, he could have, I suppose. Martin O'Neill could have lost 6 games in the trot or whatever, but just the timing of it. But, you can't sit and wait for ifs and buts. If you think back to Ange Postecoglou, he's sitting interviewing players that he's never seen in his life, COVID restrictions in a hotel in London. He's not even in the country. So you can say it's a baptism of fire for Nancy, and it is. But compared to what Ange had to go through, then it's it's just a shoot you in, as you say. But people are very keen to panic. Celtic fans are a bit spoiled. I agree that they should want more in Europe and want more investment, because they're only going to progress if that happens. But any Celtic fan I've spoken to, not really in derogatory terms, but they've just said, look, out of the first 3 games, the one that really matters is the cup final. That's absolutely the one. And but back to your actual question, Nori, I think the Celtic players now will know Nancy enough, and at the moment there might be a wee bit of left field going on, and them saying, right, well, he's told me this, whatever, but I'll do that to an extent. But I think there'll be a lot of, I don't know what the word is, improvisation, but I think there'll be a lot of just doing their own thing to an extent to try and win a game that they know is desperately important for them. So I think, that they'll take on board what he says, but by the same token, there'll be a bit of pragmatism in the back. And this for me is the game that they must win. But panicking, they're up there with Hearts now, so the flow's been stemmed, so they're in a good position. But it's very easy to criticise. But against Roma there was a lot of uneasiness and a lot to criticise. So he really has to pick up for here, and I think he possibly could.
Well, Glenn, looking at it from St Mirren point of view, could you have got Celtic at a better time? And will they be licking their lips thinking, we've got half a chance here? These guys have not got momentum on their side. They've actually had a really rough time. Are they a team like a wild beast that's been cornered, or come back fighting? Or have St Mirren got enough through Robinson to actually win this game, this final?
St Mirren definitely got enough to win this. I mean, look, they go into, regardless of how Celtic are doing, St Mirren go into this as underdogs, So no one's really, truly expecting them to do anything, okay, other than St Mirren and the players themselves, etc. So they'll go in there. They will get right in the faces of Celtic. They will also defend for their might. They will do the low block. They will hit them on the break. They've got pace in their team. If Celtic aren't ready for that, because are they going to persist with a different system? I don't know. Will he change it for the final? I don't know. But if they turn up playing like they have done in the last 2 games, then they're in real trouble. Because although Celtic fans will, outnumber the St Mirren fans probably 4-1 in the stadium, they will turn. If they don't see a reasonable performance by half-time, if St Mirren are stopping them creating chances, if St Mirren nick a goal and go 1-0 up, oh my God, You know, and there's no confidence in that team. You know, they were quite fragile under O'Neill. They were just getting results, etc. It was effective. They had no confidence before O'Neill, and they're back to having no confidence now. So again, I said before, he's got a huge job in his hands. He hasn't got much time at all to turn around from the European disaster to this. Now, in his mind, I don't know how much he knows about Scottish football, but in his mind, he might be thinking to himself, well, look, I'm not facing a team like Roma. You know, they haven't got the same kind of resources, etc. But this team will be motivated. They will have watched the last couple of performances, and they'll be thinking, although it's not the best time. The best time was just before Martin O'Neill took over, when they were really on the ropes and struggling.
Yeah, they were.
You know, and I mean, Dundee beat them and everything. You know,
right.
So they will see this as a great opportunity. Hey, look, sometimes in your career you only get to a final once.
That's
so
right.
They'll be right up for this, and they can definitely do it if Celtic play to the way they can play. If they have got better players on paper, but currently St Mirren are a better team, as in a group of 11 11 people coming together as a team.
Yes, I think you've hit it in the head there, Glenn. I think when you're seeing Celtic and perhaps Rangers at the same time, you're watching the 11 individuals not as a collective team. They've all got, like, they're just wanting to do their own thing. And then before you know it, if you're working as a team, you block things and you cover for other people. But that's not how it's working at Celtic and Rangers. And I think if St Mirren can be that team who can use that it sounds silly to say it, but if because they're acting as a normal team, if they can use that, I think they've got a half chance. In fact, more than a half chance. They've got a very good chance of upsetting Celtic. It'll be interesting to see. Can I just mention Robert Savage as well, because he got in touch. He says, I couldn't go to the World Cup if I wanted to. I've said too many derogatory things about the lunatic that's running the country. I understand that, Robert. And he says, I don't think the atmosphere would be as good as other World Cups I enjoyed. So just hoping things pick up. Good on you, Robert. There's not much we can add to that. I think the atmosphere will be lacking. I honestly do, and it might be a stale event. Who knows? Maybe best to watch it in the pubs. Aberdeen were playing last night. Were you there, Glenn? Did you get a ticket? Did you go?
You know what? I actually had a ticket and didn't go. I know it's and it's not because of not wanting to go and watch them play Strasbourg, etc. It was work. Can't get away from work at the moment. A bit crazy. If my son Robert, if he wanted to go, I would have taken him in. But we both decided he's got exams just now, so we decided rather than give up 6 hours traveling there, watching it, and traveling back, etc. We'll do 4 hours of work here and we'll watch it on the TV. And so. Probably it was a wise decision, because we would have come away quite frustrated, because I actually thought they played not too bad. I mean, that Strasbourg, they're a decent outfit. I mean, every single player they were saying, under 21 for France, under 21 for England, under 21 for Belgium, etc. They've assembled a squad that is the youngest squad in all of the top 5 leagues in Europe. And they're effective. They are really good. Dewey from Paris Saint-Germain, the wonder kid. Yeah, his brother was playing last night. And he's really good. What a family, I
know. What I noticed last night, I was watching it on telly after the Rangers game. I thought Aberdeen played well, Chris. They got a goal disallowed because the ball hit his hand, then went in. If that had gone in, that puts a different dynamic on the game. And I thought Aberdeen were pressing them really well, stopping them from attack and creating their own attack deep down in their half. I thought it was a great performance first half.
Yeah, I mean, it did go in. This, honestly, they'll look back and use a French word, folly, but just honestly, the ball rolls, goes down the way, and accidentally hits you. Your hands are going to be in order for you to win a header. You literally, your hands are going to be everywhere. So I don't know if it was a case. I mean, right, so they're sitting at the top of the league, so I don't know if it was a bit of bias there. But just, I don't think the goal should have been disallowed. This, we keep returning to it. Guys that are squirming their bodies, defenders squirming their bodies away. It's just, that to me is the most unnatural position in football. Forget about this natural position of the hand.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate. But I think we've got to mention their goal. It was at Godot was they parted like the Red Sea for him. Devlin he was doing his fiddler crab, just literally having to pay to get back in, and then with the penalty as well. The guys moving away from goal. Just don't do a Hanley. Just let him move further away from goal. So there was a few panic moments, but I think Aberdeen did what they should have done. They went after them, and I mean, I have to say as well at the same time that they played the first and second team thus far in the league, so that's a bit unfortunate. But now they're out, so you might as well blood the youngsters. But they did. I think they initially rattled them, but I was going to say the experience. Obviously, these guys are quite young, but the caliber eventually shone through, I suppose.
I don't know, Glenn. When I watched that match, they hit a long ball into the Aberdeen box, and the two defenders couldn't deal with it, and the striker just nipped in and got a goal. That should have been cleared. Row Z, X, whatever you want to call it. Just get it, shout to each other, I've got it, then kick it. And it didn't happen. And then Devlin, maybe showing his age a wee bit slow, lent on the player as he went forward. The guy was clever, he went down, and he got clipped as well. Definite penalty. But Dimitar Mitov earned his corn last night. He saved a penalty, and he saved an almost certain goal, a deflected goal, strong hand when he was on the ground. He played well, and there was others. Jack Milne absolutely continues to impress, and Dylan, young Dylan, is it left back? He's right
Leuven.
back.
Yeah.
Left back.
Yeah.
Was attacking with gusto. So there is something to look at and say, well, we're not a bad team. Last night, if we played like that against Athens and other clubs, we might have got more points than what we lost. But we didn't. And so here we are, this part of the season, we're looking back forlorn. It is a shame. But did you think are you glad you didn't go because you would have been so disappointed with that?
No, I mean, I would rather not have been working and have went. I mean, I thought the atmosphere looked quite good as well. The Strasbourg fans, they're making a fair bit of noise, and I do think it was a really good first half. Look, their keeper made a good save as well. We had one chalked off. It kind of just encapsulates Aberdeen. That match encapsulates Aberdeen's season. Okay, mistakes at the back. And not taking our chances. The only thing that I'm glad I wasn't at Pittodrie for was seeing Yengi coming off the bench before Nisbet, and I was going nuts here. I couldn't understand it. By all accounts of what I've heard, all reports says Yengi is departing in January. Nisbet scored a blinder in the last match. He starts on the bench, okay, but I mean, if you're going to change your striker, he should be your next one coming on. He's trying to play himself in for a World Cup spot. I think there's one striker spot left in the squad, and probably him and Bowie are really up for it. Maybe a couple of the Anglos down south as well. Yeah. And he's starting to play, and he can thread balls through. He can play as a forward attacking midfielder. Yengi, and look, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all that kind of stuff, but all the chances he's had, okay, he's just proven to be absolutely almost useless on the pitch. He's a big guy. He can't hold the ball up. It bounces off him. His touches are horrendous. His positioning is bad. His pace is not there. I mean, when he's trying to do the press, he pressed for about 4 or 5 minutes and then just almost gave up again, and half pressed as well. Wouldn't press the first guy, half press the second guy, then stop for the third. You think, oh my God, just get Nisbet on. And he did. He put Nisbet on, but he should have been on earlier, You
should have. Yeah, I agree. I was screaming for Nisbet to come on. When you've got a goal in you against Dundee and it's a cracker, you're full of confidence as a striker. And I thought there was a time when the striker that was on had a clear effort at goal, and he was too timid. He thought he was going to get hit by the goalie. A guy like Nisbet just barges in there and gets a goal. He's that kind of player.
Yeah, I mean, what you do is you barge in, get the goal, and shake the keeper's hand after he's poleaxed you, I think, to quote one of the Arthur. Right. But yeah, Yengi, the only thing I can speculate is that Tillene's trying to put him in the shop window as a professional football player, so that people actually know that he's a professional football player. Just try to get him because Nisbet's goal, just toe poke, just literally knows where the goal is. Yeah, literally takes a punt.
Correct.
Brimming in confidence. But the thing is, Nisbet's brimming in confidence, even if he has 5 bad games in a row.
I know.
He's too daft to know any better. So yeah,
That's right.
It was a very strange decision. When you think about it, a wee toe poke would have got them a leveler. But now I think all bets are off, and maybe you're talking about youngsters, Milne, all the rest of it. But bring in more now. So they've got a bit like Rangers. They've got a few free hits. It's sad that it's come to that, but by God, take advantage of it and give people on the fringes a decent chance. The younger the better for me, to be honest, because who's that guy Carroll playing for Bayern Munich, 17-year-old? So,
I know.
Yeah, if they're good enough, you know how the rest goes. But yeah, get the youngsters in. Rangers and Aberdeen, get the youngsters in, blood them, and see if they can step up. Why not?
I totally agree. If they're, I don't care how old they are. If they're good enough, they're old enough, Glenn. And get them in, get them that experience. Get them that European experience. Look what happened when Jack Milne is a great example. Played through the ranks and then got his chance, took it, and now he knows how to block, how to challenge without fouling somebody, without giving away a penalty. He's more switched on than Devlin is. And that's what you get with these young people. The modern game for them is so obvious. And it seems that it's a wasted opportunity to leave them or let them go away to other clubs. I mean, Alfie Savage is it Alfie? There's
Savage.
two. Aye, they're away scoring goals for fun. Get them back. Get them back doing it for the first team. Do you know what I mean? There's some good players.
I couldn't disagree with that at all. I mean, the thing is, one of the biggest issues I had with Tillian last season was he wasn't playing the youngsters. So we had Fletcher Boyd sitting on the bench, and he'd come on a couple of times and he'd scored 2 goals in 20 minutes, and he didn't get a chance. And then eventually they leave, because they don't see a future there. I mean, so to see him actually now playing Loben, he's been forced to play Loben because the under 21 guy for Germany, is it, what's his name again?
Leonard.
Can't remember. Sorry, it's gone. But anyway, he's been injured a fair bit. So so Loben's come in. He's done really well. Milne's nailed down his place as well, and it's good to see. He's tied him up to a deal to 2029. Hopefully, they'll get Loben tied up as well, and they'll just learn. And they'll stay. I think Milne did his 50th cap or 50th appearance yesterday. Look, these guys will stay for 100 to 150, and then they'll earn you some money afterwards, etc. And the other, the young guys in the under 18s, etc. They see them developing, and they think, all right, I can do it as well. There's a pathway, and we need to do that.
There is. Just while we're on Aberdeen, Glenn, Aberdeen FC and Aberdeen City Council have moved towards an agreement to build a new beachfront stadium. The latest talks between the two sides have been described as positive following disagreements over whether the council should fund the project or the club. The club's chief exec, Alan Burrows, has told BBC Scotland News, "We have agreed to work towards ahead of terms that seek to explore the delivery of a new stadium for Aberdeen." I'm splitting this because if this is public money going into private investment, I'm not for it. And I want to know who this is for. Is it for the people of Aberdeen, the community, or is it for Aberdeen Football Club Limited? Because remember, Aberdeen Football Club are a business, right? And you can't lean on the people and the council for funds just because you're a business. It doesn't work like that anymore. As Chris said earlier, they would get anyone in to watch the matches, but it just so happens they have to rely on their fans, diehard fans who buy season tickets. So what's your view on it, Glenn? As a councillor, as somebody who's, you stay local to that, would you be happy seeing taxpayers' money going into Aberdeen football ground?
No, not really. There's too much pressure on local government finances as it is. I've read a few of the statements that Aberdeen have said, and I think there is a place for the local government, e.g. Aberdeen City Council. They've alluded that the local government, the city council, can actually borrow at a far better rate than a commercial organisation, and that is true. So the only way I would go along with it would be if there was an agreement between the club and the city council whereby the city council borrowed the money to finance the project, but Aberdeen Football Club actually guaranteed the payments, etc. And it was a contract signed off, etc. And then I could see that's beneficial for both. Yes, the city council have turned around a few times and have said, yeah, we wanted the club to stay. And then other mixed messages have been like, oh, but we're not going to, they have to pay for it all themselves. So it's a really weird one. But look, Aberdeen is made up of lots of fans of lots of clubs. It's not fair to expect, the non-Aberdeen fans for their council tax to fund this kind of project. And to be honest, in a cost of living crisis as well, I don't think a lot of the Aberdeen fans would want to fund this project. No. Do they need a stadium as well? That's a question. Because the first time I saw this, they were mooting a 16,000 stadium. I think that's just ridiculous. If that's what they're proposing to build, then there's no point going ahead with it. Average crowd last season was 17,500 to 18,000, So They have to be ambitious enough, and they have to work together. It would be good if it's down by the beach. It'd be good for all the businesses down there. There's quite a lot of pubs there that are, very used to the Aberdeen fans going along there. It would bring in, it certainly would bring in revenue to the area. But no, if it's going to be public funds other than borrowing secured against Aberdeen, then it's a no from me.
It's a no from me. Chris, if the council put in money, this is taxpayers' money, our money, council tax and all the rest of it, and government money as well, that we all pay into as well. If that is the case, surely that should become a fan-based club, and the fans and the council own that property then. And the guardians are just those who oversee it. That's the Dave McCormicks and etc. They just oversee it. The place belongs to the people then, if the council put in money.
Well, I mean, but I think Glenn hit the nail on the head. It's like there's loads of people in Aberdeen that aren't Aberdeen fans, so them are actually putting the money in. I mean, I agree that any business would be daft to get not to want a loan at a cheaper rate. That sounds, that's people bite your hand off for that. That sounds good. I mean, see, when they said beachfront, I thought they were going to maybe have a tie-in with some Miami club, but then that just sort of disappeared in front of me like
Rangers.
Like hard, but yeah, I mean, I would like to see more fan-owned clubs like Hearts. I mean, obviously they're flying high just now. That bubble might burst, but I think more fan involvement's great. But Aberdeen, yeah, if there's a chance to get a loan of cheaper money, great, do it. But as Glenn said, why would you suddenly downsize your stadium when the numbers are there? Why would you do that? You're literally, I don't know what the revenue figure would be, but you're literally saying, right, we're going to now have 200,000, 500,000 less per year, even if everything goes to plan. Yeah. Who in the right? A, that's revenue loss, and B, what does that tell you about the ambition? So yeah, I mean, by all means, get the cheaper money if you can, but use it for something a bit more ambitious, I would say.
Well, Glenn, put it back to you. Should it be a fans-owned club, or through the council? It's the council's property. Then hand it over. Let the council deal with
it. If the council actually, if the council would actually own the building, they wouldn't own the club. But they would, what Dave Cormack is proposing is that it's owned by the city.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean,
and not the club, but the actual stadium would be, and apparently they could then use it, for other commercial enterprises, for gigs and all that stuff. But that's a non-starter for me. I mean, you've got the Press and Journal Arena. I mean, really, the whole purpose of that is it's right beside the airport. So basically, bands fly in, they do their gig there, and they fly back out. So I can't see who's going to go down to the beach,
No, totally. But wouldn't it be better if the fans were involved in football more? And even if we could do it through this deal through the council, because the councillors are just ordinary people like you or I, as we can witness right now, Glenn, and fans. And look at Hearts, even Motherwell. When I was at Motherwell, they buy bricks and they put their names on it outside just to be part of something, just to have something of them on their club.
Yeah,
that's what we need. We need more of that, not rather than this corporate grab every time there's a match on. The tickets go up and the price of a pie goes up, for goodness sake, or a bloody Bovril, which is powder and hot water. Do you know what I mean? They're making
So,
a skin off us.
Yeah, Aberdeen are slightly fan-owned because I don't know if you recall back in the 90s when they were going to build the Dick Donald stand, they did a share issue. So
Yeah, I know.
I've got 100 shares.
Maybe
They're
you're not
completely
one of us.
worthless, I think, or they're
No.
not worth much. My brother's got as well, but I mean, our proportion has been diluted so much, kind of thing. The fans have got. I would imagine that maybe 1% of the club is owned by fans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's minimal. It's negotiable. Right, 10 minutes to go. We've got football fixtures coming up. Dundee United against Motherwell. Dundee United, Chris, they can play a half of football, but they can't play 90 minutes. This is what their own fans are saying. Do you know what I mean? They've got Motherwell, who are kind of riding high just now. How do you see this one going?
Well, I'm hoping there's a few goals in it.
Aye.
Ask you just now. I think that I keep saying it. I talk to guys that I play fives with, Motherwell fans, and they're buying into what he's doing right now. So I'd fancy Motherwell for a 2-1 victory.
What about you, Glenn? Have Dundee United got enough to come back? It's a home game for them, remember. Surely, Jim Goodwin can get a win.
No, I think this is probably one of the worst fixtures he could have. Motherwell probably the most informed team in the league. As far as they've got 3 wins, 3 draws in the last 6. They're playing well, attractive football. They're confident. They knock the ball around nicely. They've got options all over the park for threatening against a ropey defence. And that's what United have got just now. They are bereft of confidence. I think they've got 3 draws and 3 defeats in the last 6. They're in free fall. They were in the top 6. They're now, they're going down. I mean, there are clubs on a worse run than them, but it's not good. Jim Goodwin is going to be severely tried for this. I can't see. Dundee United fans will not want him to shut up shop, so he'll have to be slightly open and try something. If he opens up too much, Motherwell will get behind the lines and they will punish him. I agree with Chris. It's a win for Motherwell for me, and I think it'll be a clean sheet as well for them. 2-0 to Motherwell.
Oh, well, Motherwell are unbeaten in 8 league games, the longest run within a single season, and Dundee United are winless in their last 6. So that's the longest run they've been on without a win. On paper, it looks as if that's a cut and dried case for Motherwell to win that one, but that's not how football works. And that's why I think there's a sneaking suspicion Dundee United will turn the corner, maybe get a draw at this, maybe get a 0-0. I don't think it's going to be lots of goals. I think the one-off shut up shop. And it depends what the weather's like as well. If it's a really blustery day, that cancels out a lot of good football from Motherwell, I've noticed. But it's at Tannadice, home fans. I'll go for a 1-1 draw, I think. What's next? Who have we got? I've just lost my page.
Livy Dundee?
Just go back. Go for that one. Livingston Dundee. Livingston, they can't get a win for love nor money, Chris, but that doesn't mean to say they haven't been playing good football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot depends as well. It's on their home turf, and Martindale, well, he's never a quiet man. He's always angry, man. But I think the last couple of games he's probably had good reason to be a bit angry. So I would... But with Presley, with Dundee, just the sort of, the anomaly was the Celtic game where they hammered them really. But I think Livy will be too strong. They'll be up for it in their park. Yeah, I think they might even win 2-0. To be honest, I think Dundee are just looking a wee bit bereft just now. So 2-0 Livy for me.
2-0 Livy. Glenn, I saw an interview with Stephen Presley. It was embarrassing. He was on about having a dream that this was the way it was all going to go. And as a manager, you don't say those things, do you? You say, well, we had a plan and it came. You just say something. But this guy is dreamy, ropey. I don't know what he's on. But he seems to get 1 or 2 results that pacify the fans. Dundee might be thinking this is a chance for 3 points. But I'm like Chris. I think Livy will be up for this. And if they take their chances, they could win this one easy.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me started on Presley. Yeah, the man is not born for cameras, you know. Yeah, and I don't know what he's on either. The Dundee fans aren't happy with him though. They had that one win that you know kind of like bought him some time. But you look at this fixture, okay, and both sets of fans will be expecting something from this, because this is it. This is the best opportunity for 3 points for both these clubs in quite some time. Livingston, very unlucky actually. They've had a lot of decent performances and things have gone against them, but they haven't had a win in 14 games. That's horrendous. But Martindale, he's not under pressure. I mean, he's tied into the walls there. He always puts out a team that competes, etc. Well, most of the time that competes well. Presley, on the other hand, I don't know which Dundee turns up. First half against Aberdeen, meek, terrible. They just couldn't cope with Aberdeen, and then second half they went for it, and suddenly Aberdeen, they just crumbled. And we were lucky that Nisbet sealed the deal, etc. But that wasn't a straightforward win. I think Livingston will just be, from the word go, they'll be drummed into them. They'll have a right go at Dundee. It's at home on that pitch. I don't think Dundee will fancy it, even though they should fancy it, because it is a great opportunity. I can't see anything past I'm inclined to say it's a Livy win for me. I don't think it'll be an exciting game. I think maybe just 1-0. I mean, if it's more than that, it's all down to defence errors, etc. But I'll go 1-0 Livy.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I really like Martindale. I like how he goes about his football. And he's a really honest guy as well. Whereas Stephen Presley's not. I don't know if he's too honest about his dreams and stuff. So on that basis, I want Livy to win. But is that my heart telling my head? I don't know. Livy to win 1-0. Come on, Livy, you can do it. And Dundee to falter again. Next up, what have we got? We've got Falkirk Hearts. Hibs put 3 past them, Chris, and we've seen Kieran Bowie play to his absolute best, demolishing Falkirk. That would have hit them hard. They would have thought they could have had a chance against Hibs, but Hibs ran riot on them. Some amazing goals by Kieran Bowie. And Josh Mulligan, 2 guys, I might add, I'm penciling in for the Scotland squad if they keep this form up, and I hope they get in. What do you think? Falkirk stuttering a wee bit?
I don't know why. I mean, I've got a soft spot for Falkirk, and I said before the league started, anybody that thinks that they are just there to be whipping boys is in for a big surprise, and here we are. A lot of teams have been in for a big surprise, so I'm having a non-Stephen Presley dream, and thinking that they might be knocking on the door for Europe this year. So with that in mind, with Hearts, all's not 100% well yet at Hearts. I think Falkirk could dig out a 1-1 draw.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Falkirk are a good team, but they can be, if you attack them, where loads of players attacking their box like Hibs did, they struggle. And I just think if Hearts play the same kind of formation as Hibs did, Glenn, they'll win this game.
I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I mean, look, first and foremost, I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams like to attack. Hearts are going to see a lot more of the ball than they did against Celtic. They were very effective against Celtic. Now they've got to, can they back it up? They had a bad run up to the Celtic game. They were in a very, very bad run. Okay, yeah. Now they pulled that result out, but that was against a new system in Celtic. But they, against most people would say against the odds, they got that result against Celtic. Can they do against Falkirk? I don't know. I say I've got Falkirk have got a good record at home, and they play decent football. I mean, I'm with Chris as well. A lot of people slated them and were saying that, they're one of the favourites to go back down, etc. But they play with a decent style, and McGlynn will have drilled them all week for this. A sneaky feeling it's a score draw. I'm going to go 1-1.
Well, I'm going to come out here and say Hearts have got it all to play for. They're trying to solidify their place at the top, and 3 points, even if it's a 1-0 win for Hearts, they would take before the match. I think they've got a lot of firepower and they're playing really well, despite a few setbacks, draws that they had. I'm taking Hearts to win this one just because I think they've got firepower, and if they get enough people in the box, I think it's got to drop to one of them, and they can finish quite well. I think if they play like that, they're going to win this game. The cup final, St Mirren Celtic. Chris,
will we do the Aberdeen game first, or?
Well, that's under it, so we can
right. All right. Okay. Sure. Yeah, Aberdeen. Yeah, the St Mirren Celtic.
Well, just a prediction.
I think St Mirren will score. I think Celtic will do whatever they can to grind out 2-1. I don't know if that's after extra time, but yeah, I'm thinking 2-1.
2-1 Celtic.
Yeah.
Glenn, remember when they played Aberdeen? They gave us no chance. And we got that goal, Jayton Morris. I still don't know how the goalie missed that one. And then it went to pens. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah. Norrie, oddly enough, it's exactly what I was thinking. I think we've been talking about dreams and all that kind of stuff. I think the nightmare for Nancy's nightmare continues. I think it goes, I think it's a score, I don't know, 1-1 or 2-2. I don't know which way. But anyway, it goes to pens. And St Mirren will be prepared. And you can imagine what's going through the Celtic players' minds when it comes down to pens again, The pressure, I think St Mirren take this one in penalties.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm worried for Celtic as well. I'm not really, but I'm buoyed by how St Mirren play. They play attacking football and they play good, solid tackles. Godjic, especially, he's no fear to put his boot in, and go through the man. He's got to watch himself because the Celtic players, especially the foreigners, will milk that and go down. And you don't want to give away too many free kicks. So you've got to be really careful in this one. But I still think St Mirren are such a doughty wee team that they could actually do something historic here. And I'm going to go for St Mirren. I really am. The last one, Aberdeen Kilmarnock. I can only see that going one way, Chris. And it's at Pittodrie.
I hope you're right. I mean, I think Kettlewell will be left kicking the can again and maybe getting sent off, but they're sort of falling Dundee. I think just right now they're down in their luck and they don't seem to be doing anything to change it. So you get guys like Watson up front that can get a goal for anywhere. But yeah, I think Aberdeen will be buoyed by the performance they put in against Strasbourg and the relief, well, maybe a kind of relief that Europe's out the window, we'll get the young guns in. So yeah, I think Aberdeen could win 2-0.
2-0. Glenn, are you going any higher on that, or are you sticking about 2-1-0?
Oh, come on, settle down. It's Aberdeen, Look, I agree. It can only go one way unless Phelan starts Yengi or something really, really stupid, or a midfield with Shinnie and Nielsen, and there's no energy, etc. I don't think he will. I think Aberdeen will probably 2-0 Aberdeen. I think they'll get a couple of goals and keep a clean sheet. We've been not too bad with the clean sheet.
I go for 2-0 as well. That's a clean super 2-0. I think that'll do us. If we get any more, that's fine. But I think Kilmarnock are still a good team. But I fear for them travelling all the way up to Pittodrie on the form that Aberdeen showed last night, taking that against Premier opposition. I think they could beat probably most oppositions in Scotland. So I think Aberdeen. Can I just mention before we go to the Scottish rugby teams played last week? Edinburgh played Toulon and were expecting to get beat. They turned it on. They turned it over on them. The biggest, most expensive pack, and Edinburgh turned them over and won the match. Glasgow as well played. I think they played Sale Sharks. I can't remember who it was, but they came out with an extraordinary win as well.
It was really
Sale. But this weekend, Edinburgh are away to France to play Castres, another big money team, and Glasgow. I've got the other French giants, Toulouse, visiting Scotstoun. So guess what I'll be watching tomorrow night? I'll be watching Glasgow, of course. I don't mind Edinburgh, but Glasgow are a better team, to be honest. So just a mention to those two teams, done well for Scotland. There's no coefficient or anything like that involved, but it does mean that we can watch good football and good rugby. Well, that's it. We'll come to the end, folks. Glad you've stuck around to the very end. And Glenn, the question.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, guys, I'll just say it again. Similarly to Nancy, prior to his move to Celtic, which Scotland international striker managed exclusively in the MLS, taking charge of New York Red Bulls from 2005 to 06 and Toronto from 07 to 08? A well-known Scotland striker.
Kenny Miller.
You've seen Kenny Miller, Chris?
Yeah. Just because I can't get another name.
I know. Mine isn't even a striker. I know it's not right, but I just thought Robbie Nielsen. I've no idea. No idea.
Mo Johnson.
Was it?
I know. I never knew he was a striker until I was doing my research. And so I know we're almost out of time, but I've got a question to leave hanging. You mentioned Kenny Miller. Kenny Miller is 10th on the all-time appearance list for Scotland caps with 69. But can you name the 7 clubs he played for whilst winning those caps?
Right. I've got 2.
What are those 2?
Celtic and Rangers.
Yes.
Hibs.
Yeah. But others, did he play for Hearts?
He didn't win a cap with Hibs. He didn't. No, nothing for Hearts.
Where did he go after that?
Rangers and Celtic are the only 2 Scottish clubs. Okay, he's got. Here you go. He's got one
Wolves.
English.
Wolves.
Yeah, that's the. It's got 2 English actually. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, Wolves is one.
Everton, did he play?
There's a Turkish one, there's a Welsh one, and there's a Canadian one.
Bursaspor for the Turkish.
That's right, yeah. That leaves 3, 1 English, 1 Canadian, and 1 Welsh.
Leave that hanging, Glenn. I will come back to it next week because that's a really good question. I thought you were going to ask, he's number 10th in the cap list. Who are the other 9? That'd be a doddle. That'd be a cracker. But it wasn't. You're asking more about Kenny Miller. Anyway, well, that's us for now. We'll catch up next week. We might have David with us as a four ball. Get him involved. A Christmas kind of thing. Yeah, just see if it makes a difference. 4 instead of 3. More the merrier, I always think.
Well, he should know the Kenny Miller question anyway.
Yeah, he would have got that. Good job he's not here. Right, I'm going to get my supper, guys. All the very best, and thanks for keeping watching us to the end, folks. If you like, please subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it all over the place, and that would help us a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye,
Have a nice weekend, guys.
All the very best.
Bye.
Cheers now.